bro, because I played the whole game without going online. That's why when people watch my playthrough, I don't know how to evolve half my Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I don't care if I look stupid because like
You're supposed to not know.
There's very few times I've actually been able to enjoy a game. Like a kid. But I go online, I'm like, yo, because I don't know if you know this, but I don't finish shows because like Fresh Prince, the last episode, it doesn't go away. I'm like sad for like a month, and I'm like not doing anything. I'm just like, bruh, I should not have watched that ending. So when I saw the ending and Sada leaves, I'm like, I got so sad. I couldn't even edit the episode. I'm like, bro. So I'm like, bro, this game, even now, it's been like 3 months since the games came out. To me, like the hype has died down. I still put it as the top Pokemon game above Red and Blue and Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
So I go online. I'm like, bro, I'm freaking excited to see people saying everyone's hating it. Even like the top YouTubers' Twitter accounts. I'm like,
they're hating on it.
They hate it. They're like,
really,
bro, this is totally unplayable. I'm like, frick, man. Like,
really?
The more you hear that, we're humans, so the more you hear it, it makes you dislike the game too. So you just gotta stay away from that.
Yeah, that's almost like, I was gonna say something, but
like if you said you liked it, you would get crucified. People would be like yelling at you.
See, here's my thing. Like I was like a month and a half late to playing it. I was playing Need for Speed. So, but
this
like,
guy, he bought it on time too.
I know I bought it the day it was released, and I just kept it there. But so the thing is, what I was thinking was, remember how in the beginning there was a whole bunch of talk about glitches?
Yeah, there weren't even. Yeah, you go.
So I'm just listening to the grapevine, and I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of glitches. So remember at one point we linked up, and I was like, yo, remember what happened to Cyberpunk and Battlefield?
Yeah. So you thought the game totally failed?
I thought the game got so bad that people were like
actually unplayable.
We want our money back. But really, it was just small little patchy stuff.
I didn't even run into the only glitch I ran into is I went in a shop and the game crashed. But even then, there's a way to recover your save if you didn't save the game.
Yeah, and it's pretty like okay because it's an autosave feature.
Yeah.
So even if you like your thing bugs out, it'll go back to the previous autosave. So what I was saying was when initially when people talk about glitches and stuff, it's almost like, I'll be honest, it's almost like a part of me from the outside was like, oh yeah, like let it fail. Not because I wanted it to fail, but because if there's all these glitches, part of me was wishing that Pokemon would get a wake up call.
Yeah. And start
taking it seriously. What's weird was, I'm like, oh, let this game be the wake up call. Then I played and I'm like,
they already woke up, like they're doing a good game. Yeah,
this is a great game. For anyone who's like I agree with you. If we're talking about just like old school, like what's special, the number one for me would be Red and Blue. That's just off of like an old school thing, but that's not fair because we have to use
nostalgia glasses.
Yeah, and like your attention span for the game and stuff. For me, the number one would be Scarlet and Violet. That's the best game.
It's number one, yeah.
Because of
it's the only game that actually completed a story. No other game did this.
Completed a story. They had a little bit of like a feeling where when it's done, you still wish there was more. Like you just said, once you found out that Choro's gone, you're like, oh, that's it. You're like,
yeah. And then with the three friends walking home, like that's a proper conclusion, like a movie ending.
And then look at the way, like there's small things in that game that felt more RPG like than any of the other games before. Like when you first go down to the crater. And you guys are walking, and now everyone's dialoguing with each other.
Yeah.
So you're walking.
See, Pokemon's learning. Pokemon's behind, but they're learning.
They're learning. Man. They're behind, but they're learning. So, like, now you have Arvin going, like, yo, man, when I see my dad, I'm going to punch him. And they're just like, yo, man, you really hate your dad. He was never around, man. And they're all just, like, talking deuce to each other. And you're like, yeah, we're really doing this climactical adventure.
And the Pokemon, and the characters have, the characters have character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Penny, and then they get into, like, smaller storytelling stuff like the bullying stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's like theme-based. It's almost like, you know, an anime, like for example, the bullying thing. They'll just to promote like the bullying and stuff. They created a whole Team Star thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're using more like smaller themes, and they're just expanding them into these.
And they had one overall theme.
Yeah, so which
is the treasure hunt, right? Everyone's trying to find their treasure. Like they did a good job.
A simple theme, a simple story, just kind of go out. I like that. And then like unlike the other games, I don't know which one I'm pinpointing. There weren't that many legendaries in this game, which is good. All I know is Miraidon, Koraidon.
And then the four.
That to me was like cool.
That's good, yeah. Because I know, because you're saying some games introduced a bunch, like Gen 5, yeah. The Genies,
You know, there's like Genies, and then Mesprit, and Uxie, and then there's Manaphy, and then there's Fion, and then there's Heatran, and then there's Xiaofi. What's his name?
Shaman?
Xiaoming.
Lao Ming.
No, like
Shaman.
Shaman. There you go. Like, there's just so many that you're just like, what are these legendaries now?
I know it loses value. I know,
but those 4 Chinese legendaries are bad ass.
Which one do you hate the least? I mean, you hate.
I like all.
Which
4?
one do you like the least?
Probably the goldfish.
I know, bro. But that's the one I like because that's the first one I met. So I'm like, yo, it's a legendary quartet of fish.
There is that kind of element of like almost like the Gyarados thing. Imagine you find that fish and you give it chase, and you're like, I'm gonna destroy this thing. Don't run. Get your ass back here. And all of a sudden, it like corners you. The returns fire.
That's one thing I'm thinking, right? The same way we have Therian, Landers and all. You know where I'm going with this, right?
No, I don't know Ethereum. When cryptocurrencies.
No, after that. Okay, so in Black and White, Landers, Tornadoes, Thunders, right?
Yeah.
When you play Black 2 and White 2, there's a mirror that when you give to them, they transform into, I guess, a more real form of theirs. So what I'm saying is, what if in the DLC you find out those ruinous Pokemon, like, they have a different form?
Which ones?
All 4 of them. They have an alternate form.
But is Pokemon willing to put that much work?
That's the thing. I don't think they are.
See, the key question that keeps coming back up is you have to think of like you have to put your hat on as like a person who works in Nintendo, and you have to be like, are we willing to put that much work in for?
Because they don't have to, man. They have to. Now, they already know what the Gen 10 game is and stuff, and they still have to work on that. Yeah. So they can't put too much effort here.
Yeah, the thing that people, I don't know if people again, like I'll say this because I keep telling it to you, but remember Pokemon. Like I play PlayStation 5 games and PC games a lot, right? Pokemon outsold God of War.
Bro,
so they don't need to work hard.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So as much as we want them to wake up call and stuff, and as much as like some people might want badass designs, they know what they're doing with the goofy designs. They're tapping into like the ultimate market.
Yeah, they're able to work on your mind in a way.
They know what they're doing.
And the thing is, you're never going to be able to force them to like go.
Yeah, you can't compete with them because you'd have to create a new type system and all. No one wants to relearn it. Yeah. So they can monopolize the market. They win.
Yeah, it's very, very hard. That's the thing. The thing about Pokemon is the way they've positioned themselves, there's no way to bring a competitor in. Wasn't Yokai trying to do that?
Yokai tried. There's like Temtem stuff, but like you have to learn the whole system from scratch.
You have to build you know what the thing is? You need to build a very, very strong IP, like a very, very strong like foundation of a story, and you have to be like, I'm expanded. There's only one show I know that follows the same theme that was close, and then it's almost like they're both racing, and the one just suddenly just dropped out of the race.
Can I guess it?
What guess?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh's not what I was thinking about, but Yu-Gi-Oh made it to the finish line.
They did. They're still going still.
They're doing great. It was
Digimon.
Digimon followed a similar theme, had a similar IP. There's companions, there's humans. They work alongside each other. The companions can get stronger based off of the thing. They would look like they're there. They went 4 gens, and then around the 5th gen, gone. But the thing they didn't do right was they didn't make the video games as robust enough to be able to.
That's the thing. Yeah. I think they're doing a good job with the video games now.
So what I'm saying is it's very, very hard for some company to create a countermeasure to this in a way that. Okay, the best example I can give you is like you guys like know PC stuff, right? It's like AMD and Intel. In order to give Intel the wake up call to like work hard, if you guys
have to properly threaten.
You have to properly threaten them. Nothing's gonna properly threaten Pokemon. There's nothing on planet Earth right now that can properly threaten Pokemon. No, nothing can.
Bro, Pokemon is probably the only thing where you can tell anyone, except in a third world country, you can ask a grandma about and she'll know what Pokemon is.
Yeah.
This is what I gotta tell you. God of War sold how much?
I think it was like 8 million copies.
Now, right? Pokemon sold how much? Scarlet and Violet.
I think it was like 14.
It hit 10 million and broke the record, right?
Okay. I know it completely outdid it.
It broke 20 million.
When?
The numbers came out recently. It broke even 20 million. They're like actually making it. So here, on February 7th.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I have it here. On February 7th,
what?
20 million copies. And it's only been out for 3 months.
Yo, I'm just going to tell you like. Yo,
Pokemon knows what they're doing. You can't give them a wake up call.
You know who won Game of the Year last year, right?
It was Elden Ring.
It was Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring as of February sold 20 million.
Pokemon without.
See,
do you know how much?
Okay, I gotta go pee. But how do you threaten a Pokemon game? Okay, let's again understand what I'm saying. How much work do you think has to go into making God of War? How much work do you think has to go into making Elden Ring, the bosses, the graphics, and all that? And then Pokemon with. What is it using, like a RTX 220?
It's not an RTX. Just say GTX, bro.
Whatever. Who cares? It's using this doo-doo engine that my phone is more powerful, and somehow it outdoes. How does it outperform God of War and Elden Ring?
I don't.
How do you threaten it then?
Listen, I'm not a tree dude, but like this is what I mean. Pokemon's on the proper wave. You know how much effort it takes to like design like one ball in the background of God of War. Like one detail just in a photo frame somewhere.
Yeah.
This is how little effort they put into a tree in Sword and Shield. I'm not a tree dude. I don't care about this. But Pokemon's focusing on actually winning.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta maximize your time.
See, that's what I'm saying. They're case in point. Like what you just said, like I've actually seen with like the documentaries and when they're working on like more games, they'll zoom in and they're like, okay, for example, when they're working on God of War, you still have to beat the game and stuff. But someone showed like for an example, they zoomed in on Odin.
Okay.
Right? When you zoom in on Odin, you know his tats? His tats are scars. Like the olden style of tattoos.
Yeah.
If you zoom in, they look like they've been scarred up. But then when you zoom out, you just see them as
no one
lines.
will notice, you know.
So you have to put so much.
You gotta know
detail into
where
it.
to put your time into.
So think of the budget and time that to put into that, and then you have to switch.